All right, folks, so today is Saturday. It's the 2nd of January 2021. And today I am going to have a short discussion. I can find a place where I don't have so much wind. I don't know, let's see how this works. It's funny, I have seen YouTube videos lately where people out there standing or wind is whipping their pants. You know, it's gusting 15, 20 miles an hour, and you can hardly hear any wind whatsoever in their videos, in the audio. The guy's standing there, he's got a mic clamped on him somewhere, and it's not picking up any wind. Let me stand here. So, essentially, last week I played Blue Ridge Shadows Golf Club in Front Royal. I'll say it's Front Royal, Virginia. It's like 2 traffic lights north of 66 West. And it was the first time I played the course in a long time. I've had a couple of courses that I played lately where, again, I had some apprehension of playing them because I have struggled with them in the past, and I didn't know if my game was really much better playing it. And I didn't really want to play these courses because I was like afraid to find out my game hadn't really improved. Go out there and still sucked. But I did have a positive experience with the Gauntlet last week, and I also had a positive experience with Blue Ridge Shadows, so that's good. And the good thing about it also is there were a number of good things about it, really. It was one of those days where it was supposed to rain, and in the middle of this period of rain, it's supposed to be this 55-degree gorgeous sunny day, which is tomorrow, or today. Actually, it was today. And so, obviously, you know, on such a day, the course is going to be packed, right? And any course that you pick is going to be packed. Now, the last time I played, when I played at at Gauntlet, it was actually a cold, overcast kind of day to start the round. And then it got nice. It got really nice around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we finished the round and so forth. Now, even on a day like that, with weather like that, where it was cold and windy to start the round and I got there around, 12, I believe? No, 11:15. There still were enough people on the course, and they were still playing slow enough to slow the round down significantly. The group in front of us was just a man and his wife. Actually, I was a single at 11:20. The guy in front of me was a single at like 10:30, and he was late, so he ran out right before I went out. And then there was a couple ahead of him. So he was supposed to be in front of them, but he was behind his tee time. And so I was supposed to have half an hour before the group that I'm talking about. But let's put it this way. The point was, between those two, you know, old and elderly, I won't say ancient, but, you know, their 50s, 60s, Oriental couple, man and his wife, playing the Gauntlet, which is a slope 143 course on the back tees. While they both had something of a game, they weren't completely incompetent. They were still difficult enough for them to play slow on the course. And this guy and I were held up by them the first 9 holes. And then we passed them, and not just them, but 3 other couples, 3 other pairings, and some threesomes and foursomes on the 10th hole. Went ahead and played the 11th, and we were behind still another, 2 foursomes there, and eventually they got out there in front of us, and we just went ahead and played, and we didn't have a problem. But it took a while. It took about 9 hours to get to the point where we were able to play, 9 holes to get to the point where we were able to play freely. So the problem with playing in the winter, especially when you have fewer hours of daylight to play in, is that you run into a problem where there might be only half as many people playing during the day, or a third as many people playing, but they also have a third of the hours to play, and as such, you run into this compression. Plus, there's also the fact that it's cold, so the balls don't go as far. People don't warm up, so they don't play as well. There's a lot of reasons why winter golf, and even it's not winter yet, but it's certainly fall. I guess it's winter in December and later. It's probably winter now, but there's a lot of reasons why during the winter months, golf can be tedious as it is during the summer months, except for the fact that you don't get hot and dehydrated and sunstroke. So I like to play winter golf. I pretty much like to play year round. I've played when it was 15 degrees out and there was snow on the course more than one time. But I like to play this time of year when it's like 45, 50 degrees. I don't get too hot, it's not too cold, and as long as it's not raining, I don't have a problem, okay? So even if the course is slow, I'll still spiral around or play 2 or 3 balls or something and create some space, and I'll have a great time just out there hitting shots on the course. So sure enough, what happened on this last round is I went out to Blue Ridge Shadows, which is about an hour drive from me. And it wasn't raining. It was actually nice in Manassas to start. The sun was starting to come out of the clouds. It was really nice, and it was like 12th there. I was like, screw it, I'm going to go out. And I knew it would take me about an hour to get there. I was a little bit worried about getting a full round in, but I got there at about 1:45. And it had just started raining when I got off the highway, I guess it's 522 to go to Blue Ridge Shadows off 66. Just started to rain when I turned off the road, the highway. And sure enough, I got out there, I got a cart, got in my cart, and it started to sleet. And that was when I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do this. I'm not really sure I want to do this. But I soldiered on for the first 2 or 3 holes. It didn't get really bad. I didn't get really wet. And then it stopped at about the 4th hole. And then I started to actually enjoy playing the course. And I have to admit, having some skill on that course, along with some familiarity of the course, makes a big difference. If you're a bozo, Blue Ridge Shadows is a tough course. It's just frustrating. If you're not a bozo, it's a fun course, because then even if you're not hitting perfect shots or playing perfect golf, you can still navigate your way around on the course fairly well. Maybe it'll take an extra stroke or two, but it's still a playable course. And my game at this point right now is at the point where I would say I'm a slightly less than a clown. I'm somewhere between not bad and a clown on the course. So I had a lot of fun playing it. And I really could see the good things of the course. It does have OB, but the OB is a good 20 yards away from the fairway in most places. Even in the woods, it's usually on the house side of the woods, not on the course side, and definitely not next to the cart path like in some courses. There's really not an overabundance of houses, but it's not free of houses. And it's really not a bad course. It actually has a nice layout, especially on the front side. It's challenging. It has got decent verticality. There's some famous holes. There's some, crappy holes. There's no doubt that there's some, below average holes. But there's nothing really tough on the course, and there's nothing really easy. So it's fun. It's a good fun, I would say, slope 135 course, except for the fact that it is a slope 140, 30, I think it's a 145 course. And the reason why is because almost all of the greens have a steep drop off on the side of the green, or some kind of peril or some kind of hazard. Water on the back side, there's a lot of water. On the front side, there's a lot of slopes around the green. It's usually elevated greens, and usually you have anywhere from a 3 to 6 foot, drop off from the green down to the bottom of the hill around the green. So it definitely requires a decent game. It doesn't require a huge game. It's not that long of a course. I actually had really no problem playing the course in regulation, getting from the tee to green in regulation. Even on the 600-yard par 5 on the backside, didn't really have a problem with that. I was an 8-iron into the green on my third shot and hit that 20 feet long, and it ran off the back of the green, and I had to putt back on and still parred the hole. So it's not like it's a course where it's super long and super difficult. What it does require is that you actually know where you should hit. There's a lot of trouble out there in the course that you need to take your time and go out there and look at the shot and not just blindly hit it somewhere. But at the same time, you can blindly hit it places, and you're not going to get into too much trouble. It's not like one of those things where there's, a big creek or divot or waste or something, along the line of play. I think there's only one hole that I can think of. What is it? Number 8 on the front side, where there actually is a large creek that cuts across the fairway. Sorry, and then on, I guess it's 14, right? Where it's the Z hole where you tee off and then it goes to the right and split fairway, and then you go back to the left of the green. That's a challenging hole. I played that pretty well. And there's the 15th, which is from the top of the hill next to the clubhouse, and there's a lake that splits the 18th and the 15th fairway. There's another shot from the top of the hill on number 11, where there's the waist off to the right, and it takes a curving turn to the left. And then there's the 10th hole, which is across that big crevasse. But again, that's not too hard of a hole. Now, I will say this again. I'm not an expert golfer. I'm not really even a good golfer. I'm just a decent golfer. I'm someone who can get out around a course without losing, more than 1 or 2 balls usually. And I didn't lose any balls in this course this time. And have a decent round. I'm still going to shoot 95, playing it 95, 100 usually. But at least I can get around the course without making a complete ass of myself from the back tees. So, and I did. It was a good, fun, challenging round, a great outing. It was a little cold, a little wet at the beginning, definitely a little cold, as it got dark. But at the same time, I was able to finish the course in 3 hours at the most. And that's while taking pictures and having a lot of fun and hitting some balls. Like on number 17, I think I hit 6 balls off the tee to cross that creek there. And then I hit 3 balls to the green before I got one on the green. That kind of stuff, that takes time. And doing all that stuff, number 15, I hit 6 balls off the tee. At that point I was getting tired, my back was tightening up again, and I was having trouble, and there you go. So when I get late in a round and I'm tired and I'm cold, things start to tighten up and so forth, and it becomes a challenge for me to hit shots. I have to revert back to my standard cut shot, and I don't get that long powered draw that I usually can get after I've warmed up a little bit. But at the end, in the long run, I had a fun time playing this course in 3 hours in twilight on an overcast, cloudy day, while taking a lot of photos. And I did take a lot of photos. It took me several hours yesterday to edit them. And I can say that for paying $25 for Twilight to play Blue Ridge Shadows in these conditions, I was very happy. Very, very happy. Now my question is going to be, if I play a course in similar conditions tomorrow, which is what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to play this country club course down on I-64, which I have been looking at for 2 months, never quite got around to playing it, got distracted by some other courses. I am looking forward to playing this course. It's also a Slip 143 course, and seeing if I enjoy playing it or not. And it's already going to cost me, I know, $50 for a hot deal to play this course, and I'm not going to be dumb. I'm going to try it at around 11 in the morning, and I am going to see if I can get off this course before dark without being frustrated, without tightening up, without having a bad round. And it is going to rain to get out here tomorrow and play this course. Same kind of weather conditions. It's going to be a challenge, and it will be interesting to see if I enjoy it, if I have issues on a course that's 3 times as expensive as Blue Ridge Shadows and twice as far. That's kind of like the idea, a comparison test, a direct comparison test between these 2 courses. One, a public course that I got on for Twilight at $25 with a cart, and the other, and that started at 2 o'clock on top of that, in the winter, and had 3 hours to play. The other, I will be starting much earlier. I will be paying much more for the course and not getting a cart, so I'll have to pay almost as much for a cart as I did to get a 18 hole and a cart on Blue Ridge Shadows. And it's going to cost me about $20 to get a cart. So versus $25 at Blue Ridge Shadows at Twilight with 18. And let's compare it directly. So instead of comparing the course to all of their courses, I will be comparing the two courses, the two rounds, the two outings to each other, and at the fact that it's going to cost me about 3 times as much and twice as long to get there and get back. So let's see what happens.